All right, we need to take a walk. I've been sat here at this desk on my ass for too long. Gotta get up, gotta move. That's better. Some outdoor freshness, goodness. And it's shaping up to be quite a pretty groovy day today. I thought it was going to be all rainy because it was cloudy earlier today, but it's looking glorious, glorious. Mindset's been a big topic this week, so I thought I'd talk about that a little bit and share with you some of the principles or things that I use to help organize my mind. Because somebody said to me earlier this week, was it earlier this week? No, it was yesterday. Someone said to me, "You always look so calm and smiling all the time," and I just had to laugh because it's like I'm like a duck, baby. Calm on the surface, but I'm paddling away like mad on the inside, and we all are. And that's the point. I mean, everybody's dealing with whatever they're dealing with. We all have our little individual battles that we're all fighting and facing. And essentially, you can see to the limits of your ability, and then that's when you seek out other skilled workers, trainers, coaches, therapists, whatever, to help you extend your visions. As you can see, so we have that blind side, and I've got my blind side just like everybody else. But I was going to share with you, and it's getting windy on this bit, so I might have to find some shelter to share this with you.
This is a Ryan Little production.
Okay, so it's calmed down a little bit. So what I want to talk about, just mindset and some principles that I use to help manage my mind. Now I'm going to just touch on these really, really quickly because I actually have a podcast, a two-part series, a two-part podcast coming up on this very topic, and so I'll be talking more in depth with it. It's a podcast called the Havana Cafe Sessions. It's a podcast that I do with the novelist Sarah B. Hunt. So check it out. It's episode number 25 and 26. It's going to be 25 is out this Monday. And I talk about the Stoic philosophy. I'm a big fan of the ancient Greek Stoics, Epictetus being my main man. I like him of them all. That's my favorite Stoic. And there's some principles that I picked up from Epictetus that work really, really well in terms of a practical philosophy of life. So it's about an outlook, about your outlook on life, really. So I'll share that with you, but I'll do it very quickly because you can listen to it more in depth on the podcast. Okay, it's getting kind of warm, so I'm gonna get out of this jumper. The thing about the UK, it's 1 minute it's cold, next minute it's flipping hot, you know what I mean? So let me get the heck out of, just wanted to set that up there, hopefully it doesn't fall over. Get out of this jumper and then we'll carry on with our conversation. A big principle in Stoicism is that there are some things that are in our control and there are some things that are not in our control. And there's the wisdom to be able to separate out what those things are. And if you really put your mind to it, you'll know the things that, well, essentially, the things that are in your control are the things that are internal to you, your mind, how you control your mind, basically. There's some things that you can influence externally, but a lot of stuff outside of you is essentially out of your control. And if you can learn to let go of the things that are out of your control and accept them, that they're going to be as they are, then you set yourself up for a better mental state of happiness and contentment and peace. Which leads on to the second tenet, which is that we always have control of the content and character of our inner mind. So what's going on up in your cranium, you have control over that. The third thing is to see things as they are. We have a tendency to, wish that things were different, or wish that, it was like this, or wish that it was like that. But from a Stoic point of view, is just to see things as they are and accept them as they are. Fourth thing is to create your own merit. So again, we have this tendency to seek validation, to seek approval external to us from other people. Whereas the Stoics are saying create your own merit and rely upon that in terms of whatever you are measuring yourself against, your own merit. The fifth principle is this, is that to accept things as they occur. So in the previous video I was talking about how we have this ability to imagine the future, which is a survival mechanism for us. Well, what the Stoics are saying, Epictetus in particular, is saying that to accept things as they occur, as opposed to projecting way out into the future and thinking, well, this is gonna suck and then start dealing with the suck, not in a useful way, but this worry and anxiety because we're focusing on that worst case scenario, but accept them as they come. It's like the whole adage of, cross your bridges when you get to them and deal with it then. And just trust that you have the resources, internal resources, to handle whatever life may throw at you. And then number 6 is to care for the things that you have. So basically, appreciate what you have, appreciate your life as it is, appreciate the things that you have in your life, appreciate the people that you have in your life. So appreciate them while you have them. And I'll add on to that, if you do any reading on Epictetus, where he talks about appreciating while you have them, but also realize that at any point in time, the things that you have, the people that you love, can be taken from you, they can be gone and disappear. Hence, it's even more important to appreciate them while you indeed have them. Oh, we got a little babbling brook action here. You see behind me. Ooh-ah. Here's another cool principle, that there's no need to yearn, envy, or grab. So we have a tendency to think of life as being, and resources in life to be scarce. And so we want to hoard and grab and just try and, we compete with each other for it, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's scarce resource, and we have a lack of abundance mindset. And so we get ourselves in a state of sort of frenzy, and we're after this in a state of worry and anxiety because we think everything is scarce, and then we try and grab and be greedy, and the yearning bit is another one. We yearn for a better life, and I guess this ties in that the principle just before this, when in fact just appreciate the moment that you're in and not be yearning for things way out. I had to dip in there because the wind is starting to pick up again. Oh, check this out. There's a hawk. I'll see if I can zoom in on him. He's right. There he is. Cool. There's like 2 of them here. They're massive wingspans they have. So there's that guy, and then there's one there, and the other one is, he's behind the tree. You can't see him. So the 8th principle is not to accept other people's negative attitudes and beliefs. And I know you can probably think of a number of people in your lives right now that are very, very negative, and every time you go around them, they try to bring you into their their drama. And the trick here that Epictetus is saying here is not to accept someone else's negative energy, opinion, attitude, and or beliefs. And the ninth principle here is that everything happens for a reason. Now, that's probably of all the tenets, I happen to believe that one. I think that would probably be the most contentious of those, and the rest are very, very practical system of thought there. But I happen to believe that everything happens for a reason, and what that reason is one of those things that I view as being beyond my control or out of my control. So I tend not to focus on that, or to worry about that, or to think too much about it, but just to know that it all happens for a reason, whatever that reasons might be. It is kind of what it is. And the last principle on this list is that happiness can only be found within. So the moment that you start to externalize your happiness, be it in material goods or in other people, you lose that inner peace, because you've just given it away. You lose that, you lose the ability to be happy because you've placed it on things that are outside of your control, that's outside of your being. So happiness is really something that's attained or contained within. Now, the principles, there's 10 of them, and I listed those out. Those are really just a summary of Epictetus's thoughts. So you can read it in the dialogues, you can read it in the Enchiridion, which of course Epictetus never wrote anything down. So like Socrates, it was one of his students that actually kept good notes. I gotta get me a student, or maybe that's what this thing is, right? My camera's my student. So Socrates never wrote anything down, Epictetus didn't write anything down, but they had some scribes that wrote it all down so they could live. So I'll make this iPhone is my scribe, collecting all my thoughts. Not that my thoughts are worth anything, but at any rate, there you have it. So it was just a summary. Those are just 10 very broad stroke summaries of some of Epictetus's thoughts in relationship to Stoicism. Encourage you to read both of those books. They're easy reads, actually. So have a read of those, and then listen to the podcast if you want to hear me and Sarah talk about these in more depth, because we'll go and explain. I was just kind of giving you the whirlwind tour of these things that help me out. They help me a lot, and I have to revisit them from time to time, or often actually, because as I said in the beginning of this, we're all have crazy stuff going on in our head, and battling and having to deal with the stuff that we are dealing with. And to make yourself the most effective, it's great to have a philosophy of life or an outlook that you can kind of turn to remind you of the principles and the strength and the power that you have internally. All right, I'm going to finish my nice Saturday walk here, stretching my limbs, and enjoy the rest of this vitamin D sunshine. Peace.